You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
Well, where did Marvel Studios end back up at? The Russo brothers, and I think fans are going to be really excited to hear that. Not only do we have a report today from the Hollywood Reporter talking about the Russo brothers coming back to direct not just Avengers Secret Wars, but Avengers 5 as well, but they also do give us a little bit of insight about what Marvel Studios' plans are for Avengers 5, which is news that us fans have really been dying to know. What is going to happen with Kang the Conqueror? When Jonathan Majors was fired by Marvel Studios as Kang the Conqueror, immediately some outlets started reporting that Marvel Studios has moved away from the title Avengers Kang Dynasty, and now they are simply calling it Avengers 5. That is really the last that we've heard about that, but fortunately this article offers some more insight. This is also something that we really hope is addressed at San Diego Comic-Con, perhaps maybe even them announcing a Kang recast. This is just speculation and hopeful thinking at the time, nothing is confirmed, but if you caught our last video, you know that Marvel Studios does have really big plans for SDCC's Hall H, both of their Hall H's. Their Deadpool one on Thursday, and then of course the big one on Saturday. Now, the article by the Hollywood Reporter reads, Marvel shocker, Russo Bros in talks to direct next 2 Avengers movies, exclusive by the Hollywood Reporter, with the subtitle, Just When You and the Russos themselves, quite frankly, thought they were out, Kevin Feige is pulling them back in. Godfather and Al Pacino fans will understand where this paraphrase quote is coming from. And real quick, I want to address the first 2 words of this title, Marvel shocker. I'm not really sure this is such a big shocker. I'm not sure if they're being sarcastic here, but it seems like they are being genuine here because the subtitle says just when you and the Russo brothers themselves, quite frankly, thought they were out, they were pulled back in, making it seem like the Russo brothers did think they were done with Marvel, but I don't think the fandom thought that at all. In fact, I think most people would really like to have them direct Avengers Secret Wars and the next Avengers movie as well. That way there's a lot of continuity in between, but go ahead, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below right up front. We'll go through the front half of the article talking about the Russo brothers, and then we'll get into the stuff where they talk about Avengers 5. The article reads, the Russo bros are in early talks to return to Marvel Studios to direct not just one, but the next 2 Avengers movies. The hiring ends a months-long high-stakes search by the studio for filmmakers to oversee the 5th and 6th Avengers movies. Multiple names were in contention, including Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy, who was offered the gig. Sources say the talks are in the early stages. So basically what this means right now is that Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige and company met with the Russo brothers. They also met with a lot of other directors and basically decided after they decided they wanted Sean Levy, he turned it down according to what we've heard before. And now then after that, they have decided they want the Russo brothers. They have told the Russo brothers, and the Russo brothers have now agreed to come back and direct the film. Granted, all of the negotiations go according to plan. So now they go into where they talk about the pay, they talk about all the creative rights that they have with the movie, the logistics of it all, and basically, as the Hollywood Reporter states here, the search is now over because Marvel Studios has decided they want the Russos, and the Russos have said yes. So as of right now, if everything goes according to plan, the negotiations work out just fine, the Russo brothers are directing Avengers 5 and Avengers Secret Wars. So this is now official. We heard rumors about this before, and we heard the rumors about Sean Levy being offered the role. It seems like those were all true. Sean Levy said no to directing the next Avengers film, which makes sense because the only reason he really came to direct Deadpool and Wolverine is because of Ryan Reynolds. He was working with Ryan Reynolds on the Atom Project, and then of course he did Real Steel a while ago with Hugh Jackman, so he loved both of them. But besides that, typically Sean Levy does new IPs, like new movies created out of nowhere, like the Atom Project, like Free Guy. So it doesn't really come as a surprise that he said no to directing Avengers 5, but I do really like that the Russos are going to direct the next 2 Avengers films. That way, like I said, we can have some really good continuity in between, and that way they work on both films at the same time. Instead of having the 2 movies kind of be done by 2 different teams, now it's going to be done by 1 team. The same directors, at least. Now, we just heard that Michael Waldron is not doing Avengers 5 anymore, but is still, reportedly right now, still writing Avengers Secret Wars. Now, this could come as a result of the Russo brothers coming into play for Avengers 5. Perhaps they had their own writers that they want to work with. Perhaps maybe they wanted to do some writing themselves, because the Russo brothers have stated plenty of times years ago, since right after Avengers Endgame, that they would come back for Avengers Secret Wars. They've said that was their favorite comic growing up, and they would love to see that on screen, and they said it would be huge. So the Russo brothers directed some of the biggest Marvel movies of all time, the biggest Marvel movies of all time, and the second biggest movie ever, which I still maintain to this day. Avatar cheated by re-releasing, and I think they should re-release Avengers Endgame to up their numbers as well, but I digress. If you are trying to go bigger in Avengers Secret Wars, and if you are trying to get people re-hyped again for Marvel in the MCU with Avengers 5, what better way to do that and better way to ensure quality than to hire the Russo brothers back? And again, I think this is great news, but please let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Now here's the next part of this article. They say, in the years since, they have become mega producers via their AGBO banner, producing the Best Picture winner Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was a multiverse film. So again, who better to do Secret Wars and handle the multiverse saga right now than the Russo brothers? So basically the article talks about how they have done a lot of great things since Avengers Endgame. Then they dive into Avengers 5. They say the fifth Avengers movie was previously titled Avengers the Kang Dynasty and was to star Jonathan Majors as time-traveling villain Kang. But Marvel Studios cut ties with the actor after he was convicted of assault and harassment in December. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings director Destin Daniel Cretton was once attached to direct Kang Dynasty, but he departed a month before Majors' conviction. The feature is expected to get a new name and a new focus. That's the big part. Right here, The Hollywood Reporter is stating that their sources have told them the feature is expected to get a new name and a new focus. A new name obviously means it's not going to be titled Kang Dynasty, and a new focus means it's not going to be focused on Kang anymore. And now with the Russo brothers coming into the equation, some people are thinking, really just speculation or hopeful thinking, that the Russos might actually focus on Doctor Doom, which probably has to do with the last paragraph of this article that reads, the sixth Avengers film is Secret Wars, which is a storyline the Russos have long talked about wanting to adapt. A pair of 1980s comic book series focused on an all-powerful antagonist known as the Beyonder, who in the first installment pitted Marvel's heroes and villains against each other on a planet known as Battleworld. A 2015 revival served as the climax to writer Jonathan Hickman's own multiverse saga, which has already had elements referenced in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. In Hickman's Secret Wars, all of Marvel's multiverses are destroyed, with remnants surviving on a single planet ruled by the villain Doctor Doom. Now, I have mixed thoughts about Doctor Doom coming into the equation right now. One, he is probably the best villain, if not one of the best villains to ever come from Marvel. He is iconic. He is a classic Marvel villain. He deserves his own saga. So if they brought him in right now, they would have to continue his saga going into the next one. So basically, they couldn't kill him off. If they brought him in, he would need to be maybe a villain for Avengers 5. I think it would still be kind of hard to just bring him in out of nowhere to Avengers 5. They'd have to do a lot with the Fantastic Four and then have him be a big villain in Secret Wars, but then have an overall arching villain be on top of him, like the Beyonder. Ultimately, at the end of Secret Wars, it needs to be about taking down somebody else, not Doctor Doom, because again, Doctor Doom deserves his own saga. So he can't be killed, he can't be written off after Secret Wars. I think the Beyonder is actually a good way to go here. And we heard before, these were rumors, but we heard that Marvel Studios wanted a variant of Kang to be a Beyonder type variant as well, or a Kang variant who has kind of ascended above all and has become a Beyonder type of person. I know the Beyonders are a specific entity of people in the comics, but that's what we heard. And maybe they can still do that. And in all honesty, I think Kang is still the way to go here. You can move away from Kang in the next Avengers film, but you should still have the overall arching threat of Kang the Conqueror. I just think that they need to recast, and perhaps they want a little bit more time to recast. When Jonathan Majors was first convicted, a lot of insiders were reporting that Marvel just wants to take a break from him for a little bit, let all of the negative feelings towards him and the whole situation kind of go away, and then eventually bring back Kang as the villain. I'm all for this, and I personally think that this would probably be the best option, but hey, please let me know what you think about all of this in the comments down below. And I know there are a lot of people that want Jonathan Majors back. I just don't think it's going to happen, sadly. I would like it too. I really would. It would fix kind of everything, but hopefully Marvel Studios gives us some update about Kang at San Diego Comic-Con. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you can stay up to date on the MCU. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.